Hello and good morning, Holly. Thanks for joining me today. Hey, we haven't seen each other in a while, right? So
Yeah.
very good to meet you again online. Can you do me a favor and introduce yourself to the audience today?
I can. I'm Holly Cummins. I work for IBM. I'm the technical lead of the Bluemix Garage, which is now step one. Can you introduce yourself? No, I can't. We've just had a rebranding. We used to be the Bluemix Garage, and we're now the IBM Cloud Garage. And what used to be Bluemix is now IBM Cloud as well, reflecting the fact that it used to be just a platform as a service, and now it's a much bigger thing that incorporates software as a service, platform as a service, functions as a service, and also infrastructure as a service.
So I heard a lot about services and Blue and Mix, but what exactly are you working on these days?
So what I do, I'm in a consulting role. So what we do is we work with customers to help them either take advantage of what's in the IBM cloud, or sometimes we start from the other direction, and they've got a business opportunity and they need some help to turn that idea into something that's actually up and running and available to their users, and they need to do it in the shortest available time. So that they really want to be using lean startup principles, extreme programming principles to get something out to their users as quickly as possible. And we also do design thinking because we want to make sure that we're solving the right problem for users rather than just focusing on the technology. And I think all of us were technologists, and we see a technology and we go, oh, it's so shiny, I must find a problem that it solves. And that's not really the right approach. We should, we're going to be a lot more successful if we start with users and say, well, what do they need? How can I use the technology to maybe address that need in a way that hasn't been done before?
So I understood the priority is to get something out the door way quicker than we used to push out monolithic applications, right? So this is kind of today's problem as you see it in the field, like every day.
Yeah, definitely. The old way of working where we'd do really detailed design, and then we'd do a really detailed architecture, and then we'd build and we'd build and we'd wait till it was perfect, and then 2 years later we'd deliver it. That just doesn't work anymore because someone else will have come and delivered something in 3 months. And so no matter how perfect ours is, the market is gone.
And I still love waterfalls, but it's obviously not the right approach to software these days. And
No, I think the ideal is that you get the rigor that comes with waterfall. I think sometimes when people say, here, go fast, they think, oh, but I'm not going to get that rigor, and I need that rigor that comes with waterfall. And going fast doesn't necessarily mean a lack of rigor. And I think sometimes actually you need a lot more rigor, need a lot more discipline in order to be able to go fast without causing catastrophes and, delivering stuff that destroys your brand and that kind of thing.
Can you make one example how people are actually practically addressing these challenges today and pushing stuff out? Is it just cloud? Do I just need a cloud to be fast?
Well, a cloud helps a lot. But that's just the sort of the basic technical starting point. And then what you need on top of that is you need the practices. So you need to be able to answer both to yourself and to your stakeholders. How do I know that what I've delivered is meeting the needs of the market and also meeting my quality requirements? So you can check the market fit to some extent by making sure that you've got your users involved all the way through the process. So you don't want to develop and then show it to the users at the end, because if the feedback is bad, it's too late. But you also need to do it in terms of quality. So we do practices like test-driven development. So we make sure that we know that everything we do has a test for it, and we know that if we regress it, we're going to find that out before it hits the field. We catch these problems earlier, and we have that safety net that then also allows us to refactor and continually improve.
So it's not only shiny new technologies making customers faster. I mean, that's what I always feared, right? But
definitely not. Yeah, I think if you just use it, well, if you just use the technology, and you'll go really fast, but you'll go splat. It's like getting on a bicycle. If you don't know how to ride the bicycle, you're going to be really fast, but it's not going to be good.
And it'll hurt in the end, and nobody wants that. Definitely true.
Yeah, you need the helmet, and then you need the skill as well to be able to stay upright.
speaking about new technologies, cloud is not really new, like as a term has been around for a couple of years, but what do you think is, how much of an important role does community play when it comes to spreading the knowledge about new technologies in general and adoption within customers? And can you probably make an example around a good happening with a user group or stuff that you've seen to make technology broadly accessible?
Yeah, I think we're seeing more and more of that, which is, I think, really good for the industry, and it's really good for us as developers. So a really obvious cloud-related example is the micro-profile work, where the community, I think, looked at the Java EE specifications and said, these address certain problems, but now that we're in the cloud, we have a new set of problems, and we need to find some new community standards for addressing these. And so we're seeing what we're seeing as well, which is really nice, is we're seeing a back and forth as well. So with something like E for J as well, there's a real give and take. So new ideas are coming from the community, but then they're being adopted, and they're changing the direction of some of the older standards, or the more sort of established standards like Java EE, and I think that's so nice to see. And we see it at a smaller level as well. So something like microprofile or EE for J, that's at the standard level. But we see community contributions at the standard level, but also at a more fine-grained level as well. So if you look at the stuff that the London Java community has been doing, many years ago, they devised this program called Adopted JDK. And that is such a nice program because it addresses two needs. It means that users who find problems have a mechanism to contribute back to the JDK, and it's not this thing which is completely removed from them, but it also means that new standards that come through can get this early validation and early feedback from the community as well.
That's true. I've actually been working with the London Java community quite a little bit in the past, and we had a couple of projects, but yes, Adopted JDK and Adopted JSR have been probably the most successful ones.
Yeah.
And, I have to admit, I'm very much in favor of opening up those formerly very straight stewarded standards and getting a little bit more into an agile approach in general. Which kind of brings me to my last question for you today. You'll be at Index, and this is actually the reason why we're talking today. So Index in San Francisco, 20 to 22nd of February. Can you share a little bit about what your talk will be?
Yeah, I've got two talks, and they seem to be on completely different subjects, but there's actually an interesting relationship between them. So the first talk is on the importance of fun in the workplace, and it's something I feel so strongly about because there's so much research that shows if employees are happy, they're more productive. And the best way to make employees happy is to have this culture where fun is allowed in the workplace. So there's this really strong correlation between having fun in the workplace and a better product. But at the same time, even though that evidence is there, fun still feels like a little bit of a dirty word. So I would never put on my CV, and I've never seen a CV where someone says, you know what I really want to do? I really want to go to work and have fun. We don't say that. We say, I'm passionate about my work, and I want to go and I want to make the world a better place. But actually, secretly, we all want to have fun. And secretly, it's better for our employers as well if we have fun. So I think it's really important to start that conversation and say, no, this is allowed. And we spend so much of our time at work that it should be a pleasant place to be. And it's better for our employers as well if we do that. Which then sort of leads me on to my second talk, which is on what seems to be a completely different topic, which is the Internet of Things. And of course, there's the Internet of Things is changing the world. There's all sorts of fascinating technical use cases for the Internet of Things. But I think the reason that a lot of us are interested in the Internet of Things and a lot of us started with the Internet of Things is because it's fun. So there's in the IBM IoT Center in Munich, when you come in, there's a huge sign on the wall, and it says, you have to play. And I think that's how so many of us approach IoT, and that's why we're getting all these interesting applications and all of these interesting products, is because technologists are going out and playing, and it's making the world better.
And that really aligns back into fun. So you're saying all the Germans are doing it wrong, right? So I guess we're not really well known for having fun in the workplace, but I'll definitely give that a shot. And wait to see you there. So for all our listeners, make sure to be in San Francisco if you have a chance. 20th to 22nd of February, Moscone Center. You can also follow us online on indexconf.com or indexconf on Twitter. Thanks for your time, Holly. That was
my pleasure.
Really nice to chat to you, and see you in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, see you in San Francisco.
Bye.